Hi there, this is Teemu Arina from Biker's Handbook. Welcome after our little summer break to our series of Biker's live shows. Today we are talking about work, how to optimize performance and focus and attention, and all of those important factors, when it comes to just having a more successful day. Today we have in the studio Dr. Olli Sovijärvi, and also we have a guest, Siim Land, our resident guest, sharing their views on optimized day. We will be diving into technologies and supplements and different methodologies to make sure that you have everything you need to stay focused and get things done. Now, of course, it's not only about doing the work, but it's also everything that goes in preparation. You optimize sleep the previous night, or for example, how do you bounce back, how do you recover from the long day that you perhaps had. And there's many different techniques and tools that we can use. And we actually have right now at bikercenter.com, which is our online store, a discount campaign back to school. Because at least here in Finland, people are back to school. I don't know if it's possible everywhere in Europe, but at least we have that. So we have back to school campaign. And there is a lot of things that will help you when it comes to cognitive performance and work in general. I see a lot of parents are also returning to work from summer break. Actually, if you really want to get the best material we have condensed into an online course, we have the optimized work-life course available at bikercenter.com. It is a discount right now, 78 euros. And you actually get 10% extra discount with the back to school written together discount code when you use that during checkout. It also applies to all the great supplements and all the great tools that we have. So if you take a look at the optimized work-life course on the landing page. It was called Upgrade Workplace, but we realized that it's more about work-life. It's not really about workplace, it's about work-life. It's the life that surrounds, your work, wherever it happens, remotely, or wherever your laptop is in a way. It's very good for knowledge workers. Now, I would love to hear Dr. Olli Sovijärvi, what your kind of typical ideal day would look like if you would consider like some of the routines that you deploy for your day to make sure that it's you're going to have all the attention you need to get things done. So what usually happens? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, this is always the kind of question I get, and many people want to know. I guess I could say that it begins even like the previous evening and night to ensure that I get like a good night of sleep. I usually go to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time without clock if possible. Morning-wise, the routines are highly critical to me. We actually made a podcast with Ben Greenfield about these different kind of routines and stacks. So you should definitely check that out. I think it was 2 years ago. But for me, what I like currently do and what I've been doing like multiple years is that when I wake up, I usually, first thing I do, I go outside. Or I might actually brush my teeth first on the vibration plates to get some like vibration done with the vibrating toothbrush. So like I like to combine like different kind of things. So I usually like brush my teeth, get some body moving, then some hydration with like some salt, good quality water, and then I head like outdoors. So I go there barefoot. I usually do some kind of movement, or I sit on a bench or even on the grass, and I do 10 rounds of Wim Hof breathing, 10 rounds. So that has been my routine for maybe like the past 5 months. So I get like fresh oxygen, and I improve my mental state, activate my nervous system, and actually practice it and practice my breathing and getting getting the oxygen inside the body. And also this is kind of shifting me into a different kind of mental state. Just to go this like pretty quickly, then I usually go inside, have some more water, maybe some mineral water, some salt. I head to my Beamer mat, get 8 minutes of PMF therapy, and then I go to the infrared sauna for some sweat. Usually it's like 20 minutes. I use that for meditation, and then I take a cold shower. So this takes maybe like 45 minutes. If I'm lazy, it might take an hour. And after that, I usually make this upgraded, my kind of fatty coffee with different kind of compounds and herbs and spices like cinnamon, vanilla, and so on. And from there on, I go to the workplace.
Sounds pretty similar to my daily routines. What I like to do is an infrared sauna also in the morning. I've noticed that like a traditional Finnish sauna is too taxing on the nervous system. So what I have in my infrared sauna is actually my daily journal. So I have my productivity planner in the sauna, and I basically write down like 3 things that are the main things that I want to focus on today. And I also reflect on long-term plans like for this week and this month. And when it comes to coffee, I don't drink it as the first thing in the morning because I also want to get some meditation done in the morning. And if I take like a big cup of coffee, I just can't sit still. So I like to make a cup of coffee, but I mainly drink some mineral water and maybe with some lemon juice in the sauna. And I really liked the Waking Up course by Sam Harris recently. So it has like these daily 10-minute snippets of meditation, and I do one of those, and without stimulants it's nice in the morning. And then after that I start sipping in my daily coffee. And actually, because we are now talking about coffee, let's jump into a recipe for perhaps about what a daily coffee would look like for me. For example, I'm using Nordcode coffee. This is some of the highest quality coffee on the market when it comes to lab testing. So we have actually lab tested, and it's the lowest in mycotoxins and heavy metal contaminants and all that. So we actually have that to prove it. This is from Brazil, actually. What I have here is medium roast espresso ground. And I mixed that up with MCT oil. I used the C8 oil. Or if I'm traveling, I'm using the powdered version. Here we have the C8 MCT powder. And sometimes I also like to use the Foodin collagen creamer. The Foodin collagen creamer has the MCT powder, but it also has some vanilla, and it has hydrolyzed collagen from grass-fed cows. And it also has some stevia for sweetener. I don't usually use sweeteners myself, but I find this nice. And if I want to have just a little bit more energy, if I really want to mix some carbohydrates, then I'm using tree syrups. I usually use juniper tree syrup, just a little bit, just for taste. And I also like to use Super Maca because of the hormonal assistance. And Super Maca is not just normal maca powder. This is available in our store as well. It has 10 times more of the ingredients that are active in maca. So you get more bang for the buck when you use Super Maca compared to some other forms of maca. And if I also want to get the benefits of cacao, then I also use Flow Cacao myself. And I think that this is a little bit like, so if I can get a new battery maybe, but theanine is another ingredient that really helps to balance out the overstimulatory effect of caffeine, and also chocolate like Chocamin. So what I have is theanine in this Flow Cacao mix, or I'm just using powdered theanine myself. Dr. Sovijärvi can tell just in a minute what theanine is and what it does. It's pretty popular among biohackers. But recently I started to like really to use some nut butters as well. So here here I have a kind of keto-friendly Nutella. So it's made out of hazelnuts. So this is a hazelnut spread, and here is ketolla from Keto Kamu, which is more different types of nuts, and I just blend it up in a blender, and that's pretty much the only coffee I have for the day. It's like I make a double coffee and I sip it slowly when I work.
Double.
If I'm not having a drinkable one, then I might take Qualia, which is a more of a nootropic blend with different type of things and caffeine as well. What I like about this, it has acetyl L-carnitine and a bunch of other things. And I've noticed if I'm sleep deprived, taking acetyl L-carnitine is very effective to just wake me up, and it has all these other compounds that are really helpful for nervous system function if you're stressed and overworked in a way. So as a nootropic blend, this is pretty good. Sometimes I also use Drive from Rohtos Labs, and this one has theanine combined with a couple of different sources of caffeine stimulant. So it has caffeine, it has also guarana, and it also has piperin to assist in absorption and some B vitamins as well as L-ornithine. So those are some of my go-to supplements. We also, by the way, we have in our store, we have Qualia Nootropic Energy. And this is a pretty nice nootropic blend. It also has theanine as one of the components, but also alpha GPC. And yeah, there's a bunch of good things here. When it comes to mushroom powders, you can get from our shop the Mighty Fungi mushroom powders. The Lion's Mane is my favorite. It tastes like licorice. It's the best tasting Lion's Mane I've seen on the market, and it's also from lab work perspective the highest quality as well. Most of this stuff comes from China, but this is not, poor quality material like most of the producers make and put to your drinks like some famous brands out there I'm not going to mention. But if you want really high quality mushroom extracts, I would go for Mighty Fungi. I also put some chaga, and if I want to have maybe a little bit more ability to improve my oxygen intake, if I'm doing some exercise, I also use their cordyceps in my drinks. And sometimes I just take the cordyceps as it is. So that's my kind of mix. I use also spices that are vasodilators like chili and ginger and cardamom, and I also like to roast some nutmeg and maybe some fresh vanilla on top. So if you're already drooling, we're gonna share some of these recipes on the bikercenter.com blog. There's already a bunch of articles and recipes over there, so follow that. But you get most of these products from our store, and right now at a really nice discount. And I see Olli, you also have like some pretty nice glasses on, I have the blue light blockers, the Bikers blue light blockers. They're back in stock. We waited for half a year to get more of these. They're now back in stock. You can get them from our store. But we used the opportunity to fulfill one of the biggest requests we have had from our customers, which is daytime glasses. And now we have them. And Olli looks like Tony Stark, an Iron Man, straight from the lab. I mean, look at that. That's a freaking hipster right there.
How you doing, buddy?
How you doing? Like pretty nice glasses. Tell us about those.
For me, this is kind of a reflection of the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas movie. Like these type of glasses. Of course, this is like the original Tony Stark, the Iron Man glasses. First time actually using this. So let me go back a little bit. So what I did was I have this beautiful package. This is actually super high quality. I usually don't see like with glasses this high quality box with a nice cleaner with our logo. So you just get this premium quality feel. They're in the box, inside the box. Yeah, so let's do it again. So actually now I feel with having all these bright white LED lights that I definitely want to put this on. And this is kind of typical in an office environment. So this is not like a blue light blocking glass. It blocks about maybe 10 20% of the blue light spectrum, but it makes I can actually watch straight to the light without destroying my eyes. This is actually protective for the eyes, and it makes me feel a little bit more calm, and my eyes are not getting that tired as they could be. So this is perfect for the daytime use. I cannot use like these blue light blockers because it makes me sleepy. So this is not causing you to have any like melatonin production, but this is good for the daytime, for the office, and you can actually get these both as a bundle. So if you like to upgrade your eyesight and your vision, so just get this daytime and evening glasses.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and these are also good for going, outside into the sunshine and so on, because it actually has also ultraviolet light filtering. That's good, and you look pretty cool. You could go clubbing if you can still go somewhere at this time of the
Do I need a passport?
world, but
Maybe
yeah,
I can get it from Tony.
maybe maybe. I know that you're a big chunky when it comes to chocolate. Tell us something about the Biohackers Work chocolate.
Give me that.
I'm gonna throw it to you, man.
Yeah.
Take it.
Boom. So yeah, one of my favorite chocolates, Biohackers Work functional chocolate. So not only is this like super cool, I know this is Mikko's chocolate, but I have one at home. So I'm gonna unpack this and
Let's
have a
not
bite.
tell him.
Let's not tell him live on the show.
He said that don't eat it.
I'll bring one like untouchable back to him tomorrow. So this has super high quality raw chocolate, Chocomine, lion's mane, and bilberries. Like perfect for work. Why is that? So once I
Yeah,
share
bilberry
this
is
slide.
actually a much stronger version of blueberry. Like blueberry is the pussy, and bilberry is the ancestor, like wolf, that's gonna rip everyone's metabolism to the completely new highs. And this has like a big handful of bilberries in one bar, and that's actually shown also to not just be very high in anthocyanins, but also very good for cognitive performance. Chocamine is an extract that is the stimulant that you have in cacao, and theobromine is much more calmer, milder, but longer lasting stimulant. I would say better for focused attention. And lion's mane we already kind of touched a little bit. So that's a pretty cool product for chocolates. I also like if I need some extra energy. Some people already have like posted comments on our store that the food in collagen bars are the best collagen bars on the market, and I totally agree.
That's
Our
hands
co-author,
down.
Jaakko Halmettoja, one of the authors of Biker's Handbook, has formulated and made these freaking bars, high quality, organic ingredients, and just delicious if you need a snack. Now, I want to hear from Siim Land. Like, I mean, we are already kind of like getting, pretty like, we've got some delicious bars here and all that. By the way, if you have any comments, please comment on the Biohacker Summit YouTube channel's live stream chat. Happy to answer any questions you have. If you have any questions, if you want some recommendations from us, we're happy to help you out here. Agatha Velvet is already saying that all those glasses look very Vegas and good on you. So there you go. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. All right, let's bring on Siim Land. Hi, you man. And having heard what we said, what do you have to add? Like, what do you do to make sure you are on fire? Tell us.
Yeah, what's up?
Well, buddy.
Yeah, well, I don't have like anything let's say specific I do for productivity or focus. I'm mostly focusing on my own habits, my own mental faculties, my own skill set, etc. So yeah, like in the morning, I don't like I usually don't do anything to hype myself up. I don't take any stimulants. I don't take any nootropics. I just sit in front of the computer or stand and start to like write and start to work. So like my kind of philosophy or mindset is that I wouldn't want to like depend on anything to get to be productive and do the things that I need to do. So that's why I'll never like take those things either, or at least like most of the time I won't use anything. I want to be in my own most purest default state, mental state, and do those things, because then when it's like, in when I am in this pure state of mind, then that's where I'm also kind of elevating it further. I'm like training my own mental faculties to be more productive without using anything else, so to say. And that's also like a good thing, because whenever I don't use those, or whenever I am like in a more suboptimal state, then I'll be able to still be able to perform and not require things like caffeine. I'll use it every once in a while, all the time, like on most days, but I don't use it as a performance enhancing stimulant. I do.
Right. Yeah. We will see when you are 40 like we are, like maybe still. I mean, Siimland is probably going to be forever 20, so we will know. We will not know. Or was it 5 years old? I don't know. At least the biological tests tell that Siim is pretty optimized. Now, that's pretty good. So you're not just limitless, you're basically undependent. So you're not dependent on anything external for your performance. So you're kind of stimulating your inner faculties to get shit done. And I think that's very healthy. That's very balanced.
Do it.
Yeah. That's the way I approach it. That like if I am doing it without, it's like playing on hard mode. Like you're playing like a video game on hard mode, so that the easy mode is gonna be easier. Because if you're used to the hard mode, then doing it on easy mode is easy. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Life can be difficult, and once you have faced extremely difficult situations and deadlines, the next time you face something similar, it just feels easier. So pushing yourself is definitely a key thing. Now, if we jump into like other ways of optimizing the environment, I mean, we start from the glasses and we start from light, and I use the blockers in the evening to reduce strain on my eyes and help melatonin production. Olli uses the Tony Stark glasses during the day to make sure that he's not falling asleep, but he can get the focused attention without eye strain. And one thing that I use in terms of light is actually red light. And right now we have a campaign that you can get the Flex Beam for 85 euros cheaper than normally. It's a very big discount. It's around $100, and it's valid until the end of the month. And this device is incredible. I have used this to heal wounds, also insect bites, by the way. This summer I got some pretty nasty insect bites, and I've been using the Flex Beam. It just heals faster. But one thing that I use it extremely often for is some neck, it could be neck pain or just like some stiffness. So when I turn it on right now like this, it's portable because it has an external battery. I think I need to charge it maybe once a week, and I just put it on my neck and so on my shoulders, and it really helps to alleviate any pain. And it also increases some cerebral blood flow to the brain as well, because I mean, if you have a stuck neck, there's not enough blood flow into the brain either. So this helps with that. Sometimes I put it up my spine to help a little bit the discs. So if you have disc problems, that's one thing. Or you just put it around your lower back if you have lower back pains. So that's a pretty amazing device. I've noticed that using like big panels, red light is much better for just energy. So in my infrared sauna, I actually have one of these biohackers bigger panels. So this one here. And here I turn it on. So this one is in front of me in an infrared sauna, and I'm getting some nice red light. But this is not something you're going to use when you're at your computer. You don't see anything from the screen if you turn that on. But with the Flex Beam, you can have more targeted use. So it's great for athletes, also for recovery. I would say it's a portable recovery device. And then if you throw the spotlight, so the Biohackers red light spotlight, This one has a cord. It's really easy to travel with as well. And this one I use on my thyroid. I might use that just on my face. It's great for if you have acne or any skin issues or something like this. Helps really well. And I have also used this on joints, maybe a wrist, and it's extremely effective. So it's a little bit stronger than FlexBeam in that sense. I mean, you're using electric outlet for it for sure. But all these red light devices have different use cases and for different situations and what you might use them for. So red light device is definitely one. And when it comes to the difference of the wavelengths, the red light is good for kind of the upper layers of skin, like the skin itself. And near infrared light is better for deeper effects. So if you really want to go deep in the tissues, into organ systems and so on, then near infrared light is pretty good for that. And when you combine that with a full spectrum sauna, you get also far infrared that helps with sweating and detoxification, all that. So near infrared has slightly different effects than far infrared, but I definitely see that this is one of those things that you should add into your daily protocol. I know you guys also use red light quite often. I would love to hear your comments on light therapy and what you use it for. So let's start with Olli.
Yeah, I actually wrote this article on the health benefits of photobiomodulation or red and near infrared light therapy. So we can actually see from it's Biohacker Center shop in the free guide section. So it's pretty thorough. Study that it's not just mitochondrial like the cytochrome C oxidase, it's actually the nitric oxide production pathway. So the mechanism might not be what we have been told, like exclusively. So there are a lot of different types of mechanism for actions, and different kind of wavelengths cause different kind of signals and results in the tissues. But we focus on the benefits of red light, and if you just think about skin health, if you want to have like a youthful skin, improve some rejuvenation, maybe heal some like scars, or if you're having some acne, it can definitely help. I use it for daily, like not in the summertime because there's sun and I get a lot of energy from the sun, but especially in the darker months, on my face, maybe on the back, like on the neck, to get some like wake up signal. And for recovery, I know Siim also uses this for recovery. That's what I use on the muscles or systematically on the whole body. And if you have some bald spots or you're going bald, you can actually try use it for stimulation of hair growth. And there are actually a lot of studies that show that it might help stimulate the follicles and the hair growing like further. And I know Siim, you had a really nice post on social media about how red light therapy can improve thyroid function. So maybe you can go from here and tell how you use the photobiomodulation red light therapy.
Yeah, like I use it similarly to, like you said, it has like different kinds of effects. You can use it for the thyroid. You can use it for wound healing and skin. I use it like recently I've started to use it also like before working out, and there is like some research that it actually has like a more performance enhancing effect if you use it before the workout. So maybe like an hour or 2, 3 hours before the workout, you do a little bit of the red light, and you would see this greater performance effect and better like blood flow, the nitric oxide, and post-workout recovery as well. So I use it actually almost like 2 times a day, but just like the individual sessions are going to be a bit shorter. So I'll use it 10 minutes before the workout, a few hours, and maybe like 5 minutes in the evening when I'm like winding down.
Pretty cool. One thing that I use in the morning, actually, in winter time is some kind of blue light device. So I might use actually like a daylight lamp. And one of my favorite like kind of computer lights is actually Elgato lights. They're really nice and function really nicely as a daylight as well at your desk. But sometimes I also have the ProPeak glasses. So this is another superhero. You look pretty dope on this and kind of freak.
You're not a Marvel hero.
If you want to be punched in the face when you go to a bar, take these. But there's also IO light, the IO glasses. Maybe we can show that again. So that's the lady on the bottom left corner. That's even more futuristic. That's definitely one that you're going to be considered a total freak or someone who run out from Star Trek, series filmings or something like this. But it's very good to use blue light in the morning to align and synchronize your circadian rhythm, which I find very important. It's not only the evening that you have exactly the same time when you go to sleep, but it's actually more important to get this light stimulation in the morning. And if winter time you don't get enough light, these glasses can be something that you want to get. IO light, maybe even more futuristic and cool. These look kind of like I run out from some kind of Tour de France or something like this. But basically, this is one of the things when it comes to light. If we talk about air quality. One of the tips that I've given people who are driving quite a lot a car, let's say if you're a taxi driver, is to get a Luft Duo. And this one uses photocatalysis and ultraviolet light to destroy pathogens. So if you're in a car and maybe you're driving some people around, but you're also inhaling a lot of volatile organic compounds and benzines and all kinds of crap from the traffic, even if your car has some kind of filtering, still putting one of these into your car and connecting with USB, you're basically breathing fresh air. And you can take this once you stop the car, you can take it to a cafeteria, you can take it to your workplace, and you can continue breathing fresh air. It creates kind of like a vacuum of fresh air, which is about 2 meters around you. So that's some cool thing. And this office...
Are we out of stock?
Are we out of stock? Yeah, I mean, this is out of stock all the time. Like we get a new batch, it's out of stock. So you can press the button for enter your email address to receive back in stock notifications. So you will get the info once it's available again. But Daikin has a really good air purifier as well. I don't think we have Daikin yet on the international store, but we should definitely add it in there. But it's one of the best when it comes to air filtration, in a bigger room. So we have Daikin air purifiers here at the office. We have humidifiers for winter time, and we also have air pump for and just air conditioner.
Do we actually need
temperature
like an air purifier?
Do we need?
Yeah.
Well, indoors the air is often crappier than outside, at least here in the north.
Indeed.
So that's, I think, is one of the important reasons.
If you're in the US, based on a large survey, 96% of the American homes have at least one indoor problem. So almost every home. So that's, I would think that it's kind of the same in the office. So having a pure, fresh air would be like one of the most important factors to actually have a good cognitive performance.
Yeah. Talking about air, breathing techniques have been a big thing for me. So I started doing the Wim Hof method beginning of this year every single day. And I received a lot of benefits from doing it. And I noticed that if I hyperoxygenate myself, not just the calmness that comes with it, hyperfocus also follows. Do you see him do any breathing techniques during the day, like to assist you, or are you just like pushing a hardcore workout once in a while?
Well, I don't do any like a breath work. Like I do pay attention to my breathing, but I don't do it specifically like some sort of a breathing exercise. And I do like get my heart rate up and my breathing rate up when I'm exercising. But I do try to like control it when I am exercising, so it never gets like out of hand. And even if I'm doing like cardio, then I don't like lose control of my breath and start to like pant or something.
What kind of workout do you do? Like, I mean, if you're riding, what do you like to do to have a little break from riding?
I will during the day, like I just go for a walk. I don't do like any of these mini workouts. I usually have like just one workout at the end of the day or like afternoon or something. So yeah, like during the day, I do like some maybe like squats, some maybe foam rolling, or like these deep squats, and something like mobility, but not like real exercise, just like walking.
And I've heard rumors that you only eat once a day, so I assume you're not snacking or having food that much during the day. So how has that helped you in your work in terms of focus?
Well, yeah, the thing with focus for that would be that you just don't have like any opportunities, or you don't have like thoughts about eating, sort of say. Like I don't get hungry, I don't get like any cravings. So yeah, it's pretty easy way to have like a productivity boost by doing that. You save like like not like a massive amount of time, but maybe like you save maybe like an hour every day. And yeah, like from a cognitive performance aspect, then there are like some benefits to fasting when it comes to the brain health and the cognition. But that can also be like a double-edged sword. Like if you get too hungry and too ravenous, then that's not gonna work. So yeah, like you have to be able to, if you are doing this fasting and you want to gain the like cognitive benefits, then you have to kind of adapt to it to a certain extent. So initially you may have like some performance decrements, but after a while, at least for me, like I get used to it pretty easily, and I don't have like any like negative effect on my focus.
I think it has to do with that you're very efficient in fat burning. Like you use both ketones and also long-chain fatty acids for energy. So I want to reflect on this because I noticed that when I was on summer vacation, I ate more frequently, like two to three times per day. Of course, I had this period of fasting, intermittent fasting, as I do every day, but now I shifted more towards that kind of like one-ish meal a day. But I've been measuring my metabolism the past 2.5 weeks with Lumen. So when I began using it in the morning, I wasn't like in a complete fat burning state. I was burning both carbohydrates and fats, and that's because I ate more frequently and I ate more carbohydrates. Then I shifted that into like fat burning in 3 to 4 days, and I also measured ketones, so I was getting deeper into the ketosis. And because I've been there like so many times and throughout the years, I kind of adapted to that in a day. And now I wake up in the state of fat burn like every day, in a deep state of fat burn, like 80 to 100% of energy on fat. So I think that makes it really easy just to be there in the state of fat burn, and you can eat if you want, but you don't really think about food. You don't have to eat. If you get some salt and some like water and like mineral water, so that makes the productivity wise and how much things you can get done in a shorter period of time a lot easier. And if you think about like typical meal, like people eat, let's say lunch, like typical lunch with some carbs, it's not only the time they spend eating, but also the time afterwards. When their like blood sugar starts swinging and you get this like,
Right. Taking a nap.
I need some coffee and nap. So I really like need that, and I know you don't need that. And it's very cool to see how your metabolism switches when you get like this exact data based on your CO2 levels from your breath. So
Yeah.
nowadays it's very easy to hack your way of eating and the way your body uses different kind of fuel. So yeah.
Yeah, here is actually the Ketonix device for measuring ketone bodies in your breath. So you can just like blow into
yeah.
it, it's blinking blue, and you get the numbers into your computer or mobile phone. We also have on the Biker Center store, we have, in addition to all these cool glasses we have the ACE track, which is a very good device as well for measuring your ketone levels. If you have any questions, please open up your secrets and so whatever you want to say in the Biker Summit YouTube channel chat or on Team Lunch YouTube channel. I see there's already some nice questions coming in.
I still want to reflect on this shift from burning carbohydrates and glucose to fat. So I also used ACE track and the Lumen. So in the transition phase, which lasted maybe 3 days, when I switched to very low carb for a few days, I noticed when I measured ACE track, the acetone levels, it went up, let's say into 30, 40. And then when I adapted to it, that in a couple of days, it also went down. So that means that the ketone bodies produced were in the use. So this is very good for like when you want to measure, it's very good for transition phase. But after that, you don't really like need that. But if you transition from a different kind of type of diet into another diet, let's say like a low carbohydrate, like ketogenic diet. So using these tools to help you realize where you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Wonderful. Yeah, I mean, there's some, people who are just immediately talking about, I guess, like all these fuel sources and peptides and asking all kinds of midlife crisis advice, whatever. Metformin, how much help can berberine be in longevity? I don't know if this is really related to what we are talking about here, but I have noticed that from blood sugar regulation, you actually get quite a lot of focus. So berberine could actually be kind of like a nootropic that balances your blood sugar levels. And when you don't have like spiking or fluctuating blood sugar levels, you're more likely to feel less anxious, less needy or craving something, and more focused. And I use ginseng myself for that purpose. So ginseng is extremely strong blood sugar stabilizer as well. So are medicinal mushrooms, coffee in a certain extent as well. But berberine could be, and metformin even, could have that kind of effect. I'm not using metformin myself because I like muscle, and Team also likes muscle, I think.
Yeah, it's don't go there.
Don't go there if you are not like an old man who needs to live a couple of years longer. You can lose some muscle mass.
But
you could like it depends on how often you do it and when.
Exactly.
Like if you take it on like if you take it on like rest days and when you haven't worked out, then it's gonna be, I think, fine. But if you take it like every day, and especially like after workouts, then that could like suppress the muscle growth and muscle adaptations. So like when and how much and how often.
And it's a prescription drug. So
right.
But dehydroberberine, that's the shit. Dehydroberberine, not just the regular berberine. I know Seam has that, and it's Sean Wells, like NNB Nutrition. So I've been actually using that on like a high carb meals. So let me give you an example. So yesterday the Lumen suggested me to have like a carb load day, like 220 grams of carbs, and I did that. I ate like in 2 portions, like 110 grams and then 110 grams. And 1 hour after eating that, I was still in the fat burning state. And that's because I took some dehydroberberine before the meal. So I know that my liver and muscle glycogen levels are not full, so they went straight in there. I was keeping myself in the state of fat burn. So that's pretty amazing. Of course, using it all the time, it's probably not necessary, especially if you're on a keto diet, but you can play around with dehydroberberine. It's the bioactive form. It's 5 times more active than the exact berberine. So actually, the gut bacteria make dehydroberberine from the berberine.
Cool. There is a question from Morten to Seam. Should we be cycling in and out of keto? I don't think it's healthy to not check out of keto periodically. So basically, it's like cyclical approach. And when I talk to women who are concerned about these things, they often bring this up that maybe for women, like cycling in and out of keto is a healthy approach. Like, what do you say about this? It's a
Yeah, the with keto is that there is like some problems if you are staying in it all the time in regards to like insulin sensitivity. So if you are burning only ketones and fats all the time, and then your muscles become slightly like insulin resistant, that they stop basically using glucose that effectively, and that can lead to problems that if you break ketosis, then you don't have like enough insulin, or the cells don't respond to the insulin to shuttle the glucose into the muscle cells, and you may have like this high blood sugar response, and that can be just like a bad thing. You can like change it. That's why you doing it cyclically is going to be beneficial. That you prevent this adaptation, and you're able to swap back and forth between carbs and fats. So yeah, like chronic ketosis, I don't think it is good. It's not needed either. Doing it like periodically, even like within a daily window with this time-restricted eating, can already give you like most of the benefits. So yeah, like unless you are having like some serious blood sugar issues, maybe you have epilepsy, some other kinds of neurodegeneration types of diseases, then you don't need to be in ketosis all the time either. And yeah, like I said, like doing it all the time chronically can just be problematic whenever you do start to eat carbs. So if you're like planning to break ketosis with like a bunch of cake or something, then the smarter idea would be to slowly break it first with some like a lower amounts of carbs, so that you would regain your insulin sensitivity, as opposed to jumping into the cake right away, because then you would have like this massive blood sugar response. Your body doesn't know how to deal with the carbs that effectively yet, so you need to kind of gradually tease yourself out of it. And if you do it cyclically, then you would maintain it quite easily.
There's a question from NXAusin. Hi guys, do you guys know if it's normal for cholesterol levels to be high during keto and carnivore? Doctor wants me to come back in 3 months because she does not like my cholesterol levels being so high. So I assume it's because of the ketogenic diet. So what does Dr. Olli Sovijärvi say about this cholesterol topic?
Yeah, that's quite common question, and we have answered that in our guide to ketosis. Biohacker's Guide to Ketosis, but we have a new guide out, and that's Biohacker's Cholesterol Guide. Biohacker's Cholesterol Guide. It's 51 pages, and I can show the landing page. It's basically biohack.to/cholesterol. Biohack to cholesterol. So 100% based on science. We go through high cholesterol, atherosclerosis, like different markers, total cholesterol, HDL, LDL, the particles, triglycerides, oxidized LDL, lipoprotein A, ApoB, ApoA1, and then also silent inflammation and also the insulin sensitivity. So if you have just switched to keto and you haven't been on a high-fat diet before, it's totally normal that your cholesterol levels go higher because you are transporting more fat. So the LDL cholesterol and the HDL, they transport the fat into different parts of the body, whether it's to the liver or to other tissues. And usually if you keep going with that and your inflammation is low, your insulin sensitivity is good, the levels go back to kind of like normal or wherever they want to set up. But I'm really glad that we can finally announce the Biohacker's Cholesterol Guide, and it's 51 pages, 211 scientific references, and it's basically everything you need to know about cholesterol. So having just like one sample, like or one spot or measurement, especially if you're like into the beginning of high-fat diet, then you cannot really judge based on just one value.
Like there are also like other things that besides the first thing is that you're eating more fat and you're transporting it, so that's gonna raise your cholesterol. But there's also like other things like the copper deficiency, or not getting enough copper and getting too much zinc. Basically, like excess zinc has been also found to raise cholesterol, and the zinc also like inhibits copper absorption. So if you're getting like too much zinc from the muscle meat, then and you're not getting enough copper from like organ meats or copper from I don't know beans or dark chocolate or something, then yeah, like the cholesterol will rise, as well as like low thyroid, like hypothyroidism also raises cholesterol. So crash dieting, maybe it could also be like the keto could lower your thyroid if you're like new to it, or if you're like combining it with a bunch of like calorie restriction. So yeah, those are like two things that are like the like all like these underlying causes of as well of too much or high cholesterol, that low thyroid and too much zinc.
That's super important that you brought it up. I actually noticed on myself, and based on my own experimentation, when I began using copper, my cholesterol levels went down, being on a ketogenic diet. And if you want to actually know more about copper, you should definitely read Seames and James DiNicolantonio's brilliant book called The Mineral Fix. I think there's like 80 pages on copper alone. I read that during the summer. I haven't read the whole book, but I've been reading like from here and there, because the copper subject is very interesting, and I haven't seen like anywhere so thorough investigation on copper and even the history of copper.
You need some copper.
Okay, very good. There's a question from Tuvin, question to Seam about siesta or nap after a massive feast meal or some kind of OMAD type of diet and its benefits or downfalls. So what do you think about just falling dead right after a big meal and waking up a couple of hours later?
Right. Well, like a big siesta, like after a meal, I would wouldn't do it like immediately after a meal, because that can, like if you're having a large meal, then your blood sugar is going to be elevated, and sitting down would keep it also elevated for longer. Whereas if you were to go for a short walk, then you would lower the blood sugar quite a lot. So like after the meal, you should do something like low intensity, like a short walk, something like that, and then maybe like take a nap. So that could be good for, I don't know, like assimilation of the nutrients and the recovery, and also just lowering stress. But like immediately after the meal, I wouldn't lay down immediately. The siesta itself is also can be good for stress management and recovering your focus and things like that. But like when do you do it is kind of the point, that I wouldn't do it like immediately after this massive meal. If you're having a small lunch or like a mini meal, then I think it's going to be a problem. But like ideally you want to do something like a short walk, 10-minute walk.
Do you seem go into a walk when you eat your like the OMAD dinner, let's say a dinner? Do you go for like a short evening walk?
Usually I do, like not like a fast stroll or something. Like even like just standing up and kind of moving around a little bit generally is good for the like a blood sugar lowering. So any kind of movement is going to do it.
So you don't have to go for like a 30 to 60 minute walk, but just just moving around a little bit, and that's a really good advice. I noticed that Seam's stream got disconnected, but luckily the Barker Summit stream is continuing.
No worries.
Yeah.
All good. Well, I think we have a pretty good discussion going on here. So if anyone has some questions, please jump into the Barker Summit chat on the YouTube channel, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Maybe a few words about, like now we've been talking about sitting. So I know I'm sitting here, and when you have this little disconnection, I immediately stand up, and I cannot sit too long. And people in the meetings, the cognitive performance goes definitely lower when you sit. And if you sit like 60 minutes in a row, that's also getting a temporary kind of state of like this insulin resistance. So you don't want to be like sitting for too long, especially in the office. But we have a lot of solutions for that. Of course, like a standing desk, if you can see like the slides a little bit. So standing desk could have like a mini trampoline. We have a really nice vibration plate at the office. It's called HyperVibe G14. So that's that's a massive tool. It's been actually studied that if you stand 1 minute in there, it's equivalent to like 20 minutes walk outside. And you can, like, if you're not working in the office, we have this very nice package of Get Up Desk and the Jumba. So the Jumba is that's a Finnish product, and it's kind of like it's not a balance board. It can swing, but if you stand on it, it's actually like bending a little like this. So I used to use this like back in the days in my doctor's office. Maybe after 2 years I broke it because I use it so much. But it's a really nice combination with the portable Get Up Desk. And just having these short Pomodoro breaks, maybe every 25 minutes, and just do movement 1 minute, and you're back on the work. That's disrupting the harmful biochemistry that's happening if you sit for too long.
Yeah, definitely standing is important, but changing your position is also
How
key.
did we do it in 2017?
Yeah, this is actually pretty amazing photograph from the good old times when we were writing the Biker's Handbook. So, I mean, you can get creative with these things. You don't have to, buy expensive stuff. Just put a chair on a table. If you want to be a pro biohacker, you're going to get the Get Up Desk with the Goomba standing thing, and you're going to feel pretty cool also. So you can get creative with these things, but I think it's important to change your position throughout the day. Now, Boo is asking about 18 to 6 fasting window, like he's eating 2 meals within a 6-hour window. He feels great. Is he in some sort of a ketosis, is his question. So he's kind of doing intermittent fasting. So what is, Siim, your understanding? Are you going to be in a ketosis if you're not eating 18 hours straight and then you just have a couple of big meals?
Yeah, well, it depends on what he's eating and how adapted he is. So if you're eating like a lower carb diet, then chances are you are going to be in ketosis even in the morning after waking up. Whereas if you're eating, let's say, a bunch of carbs, then it's going to take a longer time. Generally, it takes like 24 hours to fully deplete the liver glycogen. And if you were to be starting off from a higher carb diet and you're relatively healthy, then it would take maybe 24 hours above that to go into actual ketosis. But yeah, if you're restricting some carbs or if you're exercising as well in the fasted state, then you would get it even within 16 hours.
Very good stuff. So I think we're ready to wrap up this
just one
conversation.
More
but one more thing.
Heck.
So this is always magic.
What the heck is
magic.
this?
One more thing.
Do I put it like this?
Yeah.
This is
Star Trek material.
The Omnipen
Cyclops.
Neorhythm. Psychosis. This is the Neorhythm. I have a pretty neat slide. This is brain PMF therapy. And amazing about this, that this goes on like this. And now it is on. If I want to have let's say I want to have improving my mental capacity, I usually put it here. So like in the prefrontal cortex. So if you can show my camera, my head. Now with the headphones doesn't really work, but this is really I don't use it all the time, but if I feel like now I like a real mental boost without any stimulation, but just to have some more energy safely in the prefrontal cortex, this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
In the evening I usually use it like sorry. Like you put it behind the neck for meditation. It's around here, and for deep relaxation when you lie down, it's here. And the wavelengths differ depending on your what you want to achieve. If you want some cognitive performance, it's usually gamma and some beta waves, and for deeper relaxation, it's more like delta and alpha waves, and then for meditation, it's more like theta waves. So right. This has been brilliant. I use it every evening just to calm down. I lay down on the Neurosonic device and just ready to drift off to sleep.
That device on you with those glasses looks like it really looks like imagine being at the office and you have some colleagues and friends there and you have these freaking glasses and that device on your head, maybe a beer light in your nose and you're drinking some weird coffee. If you're not getting fired, I would be surprised. Or a promotion. There's two choices. Yeah. Probably you're going to be promoted to be Tony Stark of the whole corporation straight away. Like, yeah.
Or you can play with your daughter as my 5-year-old daughter likes, hey, you have this hair thing. Okay, yeah. Let's put it up here and have a neat.
Girl. Nice. With some calm beta waves.
And you just switch it off like this. Boom.
Nice. That's cool. Okay, everyone, go to biohackercenter.com. You can get our back to school discounts right now. Use the back to school together discount code at biohackercenter.com. And there's some products that are already discounted. For example, the FlexBeam that I showed earlier is already discounted by around 85 euros, including tax. So these are great offers. You should take use of them. Make use of them, and we have fast and cheap shipping all around Europe, and we also ship internationally. So we have quite a lot of customers from the US as well. And take a look at the Biohackers Work Life, the upgraded, optimized Work Life course as well. And with that, please subscribe to both Seamland and Biohacker Summit YouTube channels. And we are happy to serve more webinars and live shows to you in the coming months. And if anyone is interested in when the next Biohacker Summit is going to happen, this year, still a little bit challenging, like with some government regulations. We can't take too much risk with them, but we are pretty certain we can do it in springtime in Estonia. Looks like they're getting their act together. And so that's where we can get most of our international guests coming over. Easy to get in, easy to come to events, easy to organize events. So Biohacker Summit is most likely going to happen in Estonia, in Tallinn, in spring 2022. And we are just getting started on putting that together. So the Helsinki event is going to be moved over there. And we also have a retreat to replace the Biohacker Summit in Helsinki. There's going to be more information on our newsletter about that as well. It's going to be an extended weekend, several days with me and Seamland and a bunch of other cool biohackers to join you. So please subscribe to our channel and check out the store. And with that, please stay optimized, stay upgraded, stay Seam. Thank you.
Stay empowered. Thank you, Seam, and thank you, Teemu. May the
around.
force be with you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Boom.